There's no question that the truth about flying saucers has been covered up. If you look at 156 NSA Umbra UFO documents, you can read one sentence per page. That's a cover-up. I've got a bunch of CIA top secret Umbra UFO documents.
On December 16, 2017, footage shot by the U.S. Navy spread panic among the American population. Until then, classified as a top-secret defense matter, 3 videos of unidentified flying objects filmed by F-18s were made public. They would be authenticated by the Pentagon in April 2020. The first video dates from November 2004. It was filmed by a patrol flying near the U.S. aircraft carrier Nimitz. In the footage, a capsule-shaped object is performing maneuvers that defy the laws of physics. On that same day, the radars of the missile cruiser USS Princeton confirmed the presence of several flying objects. An F-18 patrol was immediately dispatched to the spot and filmed one of what are commonly known as UFOs. But what experts prefer to refer to as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Around the same time, the serious and respected New York Times revealed the existence of a secret program.
Tonight, CNN has learned the Pentagon had a secretive program to research UFOs like the one Fravor spotted. The project was called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, run by an official named Luis Elizondo. Tens of millions of dollars for the project were pushed through by former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid.
I was a leader of the Senate at the time, and I went and talked to Senator Inouye from Hawaii, Senator Stevens from Alaska. They were the 2 leading members of the Appropriations Committee that determined where money would be spent for defense. They also controlled what is called the dark money, the black money, that didn't show up anyplace. It was secretive, it was classified. And so I asked them to meet in a secure room in the United States Capitol. And I said, gave them a little bit of background. I said, I want to spend some money trying to figure out what the hell is this all about.
The U.S. media leapt on these revelations. The disclosure of the existence of a secret program to study UFOs at a cost of $22 million was taken very seriously. Alain Juillet is the former head of intelligence for the French Secret Service overseas.
The fact that it was a US senator who insisted on this inquiry shows that there was a very real problem. And the American authorities decided, due to this senator's request, to carry out this inquiry. And they did so because there were a certain number of phenomena about which American pilots, along with some others, were asking very serious questions due to the images they had filmed or seen.
In the States, the story hit the headlines, and David Fravor, one of the F-18 pilots flying during the Nimitz case, gave his account on CNN at peak viewing time.
Well, the first thing is it had no wings, so you think, okay, it's a helicopter. Well, there's no rotor wash in the water, there's no rotors. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way and change directions at will. And then the ability to hover over the water and then start a vertical climb from basically 0 up towards about 12,000 feet and then accelerate in less than 2 seconds and disappear is something I had never seen in my life. I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
For the experts, this eyewitness account was mind-blowing and legitimized the film. Until then, the military had rarely given its opinion. A massive shift had just taken place in the United States.
The United States military has said, okay, there's no need trying to keep all this secret. So pilots can report these phenomenon without fear of not being promoted. They can report these to their superiors. They couldn't do that before.
It's no longer about UFOs and hasn't been for a long time. It's an acronym, it's an anachronistic non sequitur. It's a government-sponsored propaganda acronym, and it doesn't apply at all. It's about extraterrestrials, extraterrestrial craft, and extraterrestrial engagement.
I'm not sure our government is in a position to negotiate policy with any of these species. I'm pretty sure that if there's been some sort of interaction, it hasn't been a negotiation. It's been a more like, this is how it is, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
We have the facts that were enunciated by Air Force General Carol Bolender, who was asked what should we do about Project Blue Book after the University of Colorado recommended it be closed, ostensibly the only UFO group that the government was mixed up with. And in a memo he wrote, which resulted in the closure of Project Blue Book, he said reports of UFOs which could affect national security are not part of the Blue Book system, which is an incredible statement. 2 paragraphs later, he said, if we close Blue Book, the public won't have a place to report UFO sightings. However, as previously noted, reports which could affect national security will continue to be investigated using the procedures designed for that purpose. I located General Bowler. This is 10 years after he wrote the memo. That's when I first found out about it. Talked to him, suggested, it sounds like you're talking about 2 separate communication channels. The important ones, the government-related ones, and I just had a case, I said, like a saucer going down the runway at a SAC base where nuclear weapons are stored. By definition, that's a national security problem. Or routine, if my wife and I go out at the end of the driveway and see a saucer fly over, no big deal. And he agreed with me. 2 separate systems. And I'm interested primarily in the ones that could affect national security.
Collectively, there is a 50% plus consensus. It's time to reveal this. But the military-industrial complex is not a democracy. It is not a vote. It is a much more complex decision.
Because we need to understand that the only people with all the fancy equipment, I mean, I don't have my own radar system, for goodness sakes, the government does. Radar systems, gun cameras, other instrumentation on board aircraft, spy satellites, all this kind of stuff. And that stuff's all born classified. So it's not a conspiracy notion, it's the reality.
After that is a vast array of assertions, speculations, and theories that have varying degrees of probability attached. But we cannot assess that or parse that, organize that, study that, because the government say there is nothing to study.